everybody here in town, everybody nationally, well, there's that four-letter word that we use with the Detroit Lions quite a bit, and it is grit. And here in Detroit, and again nationally, everyone says that we were out-gritted by the Packers.
I believe you said it on the post game. Gritless.
Gritless. We did lead that off with it. They did. They looked gritless.
They did.
I believe that they will find that grit. I believe that grit hasn't gone anywhere. I believe that it was rust instead of grit that we saw last week. But one Dan Campbell, well, you know he's not happy with that performance. You know he's embarrassed by the way that the team looked. And you know that he has got a lot to say right now. I kind of touched on it, asking you about your Red Wing days, D-Mac, and what Scotty would do to fire you guys up, what you guys would do on your own to find that resolve to correct and right the ship. What do you think Dan Campbell has to say to this team right now?
No, I mean, it's like self-awareness that everybody's got to be better. I mean, wasn't it the lowest graded Penny Sewell game in the history of his playing or something like that?
Yeah, after the heavies held him up all summer, too.
No.
What I'm saying, I wasn't going to. Do you not think Penny Sewell's good?
Oh, I think he's the best. I think he's the best.
Penny Sewell having a bat, right? He's even allowed. Showed you that he was human, but that's the last thing. Like, it's all of the guys. All the grades were down.
Yeah.
Right? Like
across the board.
So what I'm saying. So all you got to walk in and go, it wasn't good enough. But these guys are pros and they're veterans and they've been together and the core of this team knows that. So from what we've seen before, I believe when they tell me, right, the Hutches and the Amon-Ra St. Browns and that we're going to go to work and we're going to figure Jared Goff, they're going to say, right? Now, obviously it's sports and it's a different year. So there's a little bit of skepticism in you that you want to see it because it just, right? But they get the benefit of the doubt. So I expect a lot more grit. And plus, right? Now, am I right or wrong? Ben Johnson's departure wasn't full of flowers or it wasn't the Aaron Glenn send-off. Aaron Glenn got sent off with hugs and kisses and stuff like this. Ben Johnson sort of was the child that decided to leave and maybe it was under a little bit of strained.
Yeah,
is that safe? Is it safe to say that's how?
Yeah, and then moved in with your neighbor too.
No, gives a shit about that. Gives a shit about it. Moves in with the neighbor, does whatever else. He's coming back.
That's right.
So you know what? You don't need no more motivation than that. What do you think? It started right with Amon-Ra St. Brown's comment. Is like the minute you see him, he better be booed, right? Because that's what we do here. And if that doesn't give you the motivation. Right, especially after last week. So that's what I think Dan Campbell, he's going to feed on because the talent's there, right?
Yeah.
Now Hank Fraley, Hank Fraley's got to just be pulling his hair out because that is not a Hank Fraley offensive line.
Not at all.
At least the way that they work. So I believe that they're working right now. They're spending extra time. They're doing whatever they need to do, dig in, right? And I think that in some sick way, they embrace that, just like we embrace the fact of, and remember, and Neil's the one person that always says is, hey, remember, I never thought you could win, right? Everybody else is, oh, we knew you could do it. No, for 90% because the Red Wings back in the day climbing the hill and falling short, right?
Yeah.
Be honest with yourselves. When we did it, it was like, holy shit.
Finally.
I never thought they would, if you're going to be honest.
Yeah.
But we didn't believe that because we were the only way out is through. And we believed in each other. So I know it's second game of the season, but that's the mentality they have to have that, and go back and draw on your ineptitude in the conference finals.
Right.
The game that you blew in the 49ers, you're still around. Use that as motivation to not have it happen again.
And it's because you took pride in what the hell you were doing and what the organization was. And that's what these players do with this Lions organization. Like, they're more prideful than anybody. That's why I put more on the players than the coordinators. It's going to take time before we can actually determine how good the quality of the coordinators are. And a lot of those things were fixable on the field. So I'm looking at the players. Y'all got a gut check. Y'all got to figure that shit out. Jared Goff said it. Hey, there needs to be a mad sense of urgency in this next game to come in here and get better, because they all know that wasn't Lions football. We all know it wasn't Lions football. But like you said, they deserve the benefit of the doubt because of the cachet they have created over this period of time. We know that they are better than what the fuck they put out Sunday.
Well, and they are better than what they put out Sunday. I want to ask you guys in the chat, how far apart were these teams on Sunday? Because I look back at the box score. We dominated time of possession by over 10 minutes.
Yeah, when you're losing.
We had
That's great.
We had
That's
more.
that's
field
awesome.
goals.
And I get that, but we had more first downs. We only allowed 250 yards of offense. Now, you go back to that pick six by Brian Branch. Really questionable blocking call on Hutch. All of a sudden, that game's 20-13 if that play goes through. And mind you, 2 plays beforehand, Anzo was this far away from having a pick six himself. This team rallies around big plays, big moments. And I think that if that play happens and it gets called a touchdown, and you're looking at a 20-13 game, and all the Lions need is a stop from a defense that was playing tremendous in the second half. Not so much in the first half. But I think that game could have had a far different outcome where we wouldn't be panicking. We might even be looking at a W right now. So I guess looking at that, wondering how far the team is away from the team that they want to be, putting that together with the motivational question, can the Lions overcome the motivation of what Ben Johnson is bringing to town? Because on the other side of your coin, talking about how motivated Dan is to win this game, Ben is bringing that same energy. I just don't think that the Lions were actually as bad as people would like to make them out to be. I don't think that the Bears can play with them, especially at home, especially with one loss under their belt, because as you mentioned, this team loves revenge.
Well, I mean, I don't really think it's irrelevant with Ben Johnson, and obviously his team's going to want to win for him. But you got to come in and play the Detroit Lions and the fans, everybody on, and this team. You know, and you know what? This team has to do a better job embracing those moments, because you look at some of the big games they've lost at home, right? Not just the playoff game last year, the Thanksgiving days and stuff like this. Everything's a lesson if you use it as that and you don't make that same mistake twice. So it's more focus. As you were saying that, Anson, which you are, correct in the observation, I think the eyeball test just like, if they didn't lose and they didn't feel like they were embarrassed, would that have been worse?
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? In the long run. So I just think that everything goes ultra super focus of everybody because now of what you said, and the biggest factor is they're 0-1, and then they got Ben Johnson coming in. So I Caleb Williams, and I know that first 15 plays or the beginning of the game or whatever like that, and everybody was losing their mind that Ben Johnson recovered somebody else until the fairy dust came off and he resorted back to what he usually is. So we got to take advantage of that. And we got to take advantage of that. The Bears are going to play hard. They always do. And they always play us hard. We just got to be cleaner, better communication, right? And more, and I think it's more focus. I like what you said earlier. I don't think it was lack of grit. I think it was rust.
Yeah.
And you know what? We'll find out, because there's a whole bunch. There was cheesy grits last year. We can't have these. We can't have Chicago grits.
We got a couple super chats in there that we got to clean up. One from Eric Hatfield. He says, "Happy International Makeup Day to Caleb Williams.
Solid.
Hutch and the boys are going to get home at least twice. #1Pride.
Front runner.
Yeah, that is front runner. Happy Makeup Day to Caleb Williams. He'll probably get half off his nail polish.
All right.
Nobody in the Woodward Sports chat says, Mr. McCarty, I played as you on the N64 NHL 99 and scored a goal. So there we go.
Yeah, buddy.
Shout
out to the video games. They always did me proper, other than my first year.
And hockey video games are always elite. Like, I had NHL 99 for the 64. Great game. All the new Chell games are so much better than, like, 2K sucks now. Madden sucks now. Chell and FIFA are the ones that are legit.
Have you played?
Is the new hockey out?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, it's on the way.
Spenny, have you dipped back in the past to 94 NHL for Sega Genesis?
Oh, it's elite.
Make Gretzky bleed, baby.
Yeah, that's elite.
right.
That's what
And
Ozzy.
then,
That's what Ozzy and I used to. Ozzy, I, and Mike Castleman. I lived upstairs. They lived downstairs. Our first year when we were 20.
Yeah.
In Glens Falls, New York, we just sit downstairs, get hammered, drink, shoot sunflower seeds, and play Sega all fucking night long.
Yes.
I remember that video of Draper's kid using you on the NHL game.
Hell yeah!
That was
Oh,
sweet.
we all. Yeah, my kid did the same thing.
Yeah.
Used drapes and all that stuff.
Cicerelli in
That's
front
a
of the
flex,
net,
though.
absolute
Oh, in
janitor.
that-
Cleaned everything
In
up.
that game, yes.
I had him sign my actual cartridge back in the day.
Of course you did.
I love it.
And then Robert Colosia in there, the residential lawyer of the Big D Energy
What's up,
Shout
counselor?
out, says, look out for a mix of the top lawyers to represent these women, talking about the scandal going on with the Tigers organization right now.
Yikes.
Yeah, get y'all shit together.
So there's a bunch of fans that I've just been hearing from over the last week or so, and we'll come back to this after we hit the break. But Phil,
Oh, my boy.
full of
man.
poo, Anson. Bears are more motivated. Even MCDC seems heartless.
What?
Heartless?
That's just Phil.
Heartless?
Forgive Phil.
I mean, talk about a 4-day recency
What,
bias.
is flannel now, Phil?
Yeah, yeah.
Going on?
Separate people,
Jesus. Is this a doppelganger?
but yeah.
No, they'll be motivated, but
heartless.
No.
He called him heartless,
No,
D-Mac.
and I think what some people are taking away from that is when Dan Campbell went to the podium, he wasn't angry, he wasn't ripping the mic off the fucking podium. He came up there with very calm demeanor and said, hey, this wasn't our best day, and we are capable of better. Like, we got shit to clean up.
So kneecap Dan Campbell might have ripped it off. 5 years. This is 5 years
Yes.
into the business.
He's grown
where
up.
He knows, but he knows where he's at, and
Right.
he's had this experience. So I would take the coach's demeanor and how he takes it, not like to more of your point, Anson. Like there were plays and there were moments that they were still in the game. Us as fans in the eyeball test is just like it's got to get a lot better, and that's not to the standard that we hold our team.
Yeah.
Right. So for him to come out of that, like, you got to understand he's there with these guys every day, and he does that. Why coaches do that in front of the media? It's because of the perception that comes off to the team.
Yeah.
Don't think he's not got somebody tearing a strip off him in his office.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of you know how that works.
Yeah.
Do you not? So, like, let's just sit back and although I enjoyed your use of the word poo, Phil, I gotta think that heartless was a little
A little aggressive.
a little aggressive.
A little aggressive. Well, let's take a pause here, pay some bills, spending.